On Tuesday, the 22nd of August 2023, Dovetail Games announced that the next instalment in the Train Sim World franchise, Train Sim World 4, would be releasing on September the 26th, just 1 year and 24 days after Train Sim World 3. Needless to say, this evoked some anger and disappointment in a portion of the Train Sim World community, including me, especially considering it would be a paid upgrade to the buggy and incomplete Train Sim World 3. Taking this into account, I decided to make a video highlighting my main grievances with Train Sim World 4 and explain why I can no longer support DTG in any way. I would like to preface this video by saying it is not meant to be a personal attack towards anybody affiliated with or working at DTG, if this video is even watched by them. Rather, this video is meant to be a constructive criticism towards the management of Dovetail Games and the business practices they employ. This video is not meant to persuade people to boycott DTG, but it is supposed to provide my own perspective and opinion on the new game. My main criticism of TSW4 is that it implements relatively little new features to the franchise, whilst leading to the discontinuation of any major updates towards the existing TSW installments. In my opinion, there was not much of a need to make a new game, especially considering TSW3 is plagued with bugs and lackluster DLCs that need updating. I would have personally appreciated it if Dovetail had spent the time to improve TSW3 and to rectify some of the still extant issues in TSW add-ons. Need I remind you about the Haywards Heath sign issue in London Commuter? Once that has been achieved, then I think it would be appropriate for DTG to think about a new instalment. In my opinion, I think most of the new core features that are coming to TSW4 are overhyped and really should have been included in early installments from the get-go. I do appreciate the enhanced scenario planner and livery designer. However, these features could have reasonably been implemented in a free update to the existing game. The PC editor seems to be a nice feature, however it will not benefit console players at all, well, for the foreseeable future. Overall, I do not think there is an incentive for me to buy TSW4 for the new core features alone, but surely the route choices must be good, right? In my opinion, the base routes for TSW4 are not the most ambitious or interesting routes. The most interesting route in my perspective, Esfahn-Vorarlberg, does feature the branch to Lustenau. By the way, I do apologise if I pronounced those names wrong, I am not Austrian, but only features one new train, which is on Bombardier Talent 1. I also appreciate the change in country. It's always good to get something different to the usual UK, US and Germany routes, as well as the amount of stations on the route. However, I feel like I would not be able to fully enjoy this route due to the limited amount of traction available without purchasing existing DLC. I will not be sharing the same amount of praise for the UK and US route options. The UK option, East Coast Main Line, Peterborough to Doncaster, is very disappointing to me. It only features one new train, the LNER Class 801, because of course it would be too difficult to add anything else. The route only has 5 stations and 1 passenger operator without existing DLC, which makes the route feel very sparse indeed. Even with layered services, you are only getting modest representation of reality, as many other train operators run several services across this section of the ECML. For these reasons, I feel a different section of the ECML should have been chosen, such as London to Peterborough. This route choice would feature stopping and semi-fast Thameslink and Great Northern services, as well as fast LNER services. Considering we already have a Class 700 model, as well as a Class 387 model, it would not be too hard to implement these services into the timetable. A Great Northern Class 717 could even allow the Northern City Line to be added, along with the Hertford Loop, adding more variation to the routes. Overall, I think the ECML is a wasted opportunity, and the minimal service does not justify the £30 price tag. As I'm not a Californian rail fan, I will not comment on the authenticity of the Antelope Valley line. However, I feel that the route chosen would be quite dull to drive for me, especially considering how limited the service frequency is. I'm also surprised they did not bother to add the MPI MP36PH-3C and Bombardier bi-level coaches, considering they could have just reskinned it from the Peninsula Corridor add-on. Instead of releasing a brand new game, I think Dovetail should have focused on fixing their existing game and modernising their older DLCs. I have a video covering 3 routes I would have liked to have seen upgraded and expanded. I think a route pack similar to Rush Hour would have been preferable for the paid content. Overall, I fail to see how TSW4 provides good value for money, especially considering the game still uses Unreal Engine 4, and there are few significant improvements to TSW3. Too few to justify a new game in my opinion. For the future, I would like to see Dovetail take greater accountability for their business decisions and put more effort into improving their products. It is my personal opinion that more people would be willing to pay the prices Dovetail set if their DLC and games were of higher quality. I would like to end the video by saying that I find some of the attitudes displayed by people in the community to be counterproductive to any constructive conversation. Dovetail Games is not a perfect company, and TSW is not a perfect and flawless franchise. Just as much as people are entitled to like and buy DTG products, people are entitled to critique them. Ultimately, me choosing not to buy TSW4 is not going to ruin Dovetail Games, and providing my perspective is not going to put developers out of work. It is quite immature to take every criticism of DTG and their business practices as a personal attack on everyone who works there. Conversely, I also think that people who have criticisms of TSW4 should aim to present them rationally and thoughtfully. Although I doubt Dovetail will ever see this video, and I doubt even more that they will take on board my criticisms, I do wish for change to happen in the community. Either it be a competitor to Dovetail, or Dovetail choosing to fix their games, I think something needs to be done. The reaction towards TSW4 is not a solitary issue. Rather, it is the culmination of frustrations against Dovetail and their practices. We have now come to the end of the video, so it's now time for the generic YouTube stuff. I do hope that you enjoyed this video, and I probably won't be making any more TSW related content on this channel or my second one. I do hope that you have been having a great day. Please don't be toxic in the comment section. My Discord server is linked in the description below, and I shall hopefully see you in the next video.